Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Beach Secrets, Beach Volleyball Podcast that interviews the best beach volleyball players from the AVP and the World Tour. Today, we have a guest who is a 5-time World Tour medalist. She's an AVP League Champion. She was AVP finalist, and she was a best server in 2024. And she's a true example of never giving up and fighting for her dreams. Toni Rodriguez, welcome.
Hi.
It's great to have you. I'm so excited. I've been thinking like what we can talk today about, and there's so many topics.
A lot.
I don't think we'll have enough time to go through everything, but I want people to hear why did I introduce you as someone who never gives up, because a lot of obstacles in your career that you overcome, and currently you're fighting one as well. And you know, I'm actually inspired by your career, and I was talking to Marine today, the amount of success you had with the obstacles that life throw in front of you is impressive.
Thanks.
So just for the beginning, just tell us like, how did your career start? Where did you pick up the volleyball first time, and how did that translate to where you are right now?
Yeah, the first time I played volleyball was freshman year of high school. I actually started very late. I didn't even go to the tryout. My high school coach, before I knew she was my high school coach, saw that I was tall and was like, hey, do you want to try out for volleyball? And I've always loved basketball. That was like my first true love, and I wanted to play that in college. And I remember saying, let me go home and ask my parents. That's what she always tells me. And went home, asked my parents, and before I knew it, I was playing varsity on my high school team by the end of my freshman year, and fell in love with the sport and decided I wanted to play that in college instead. And originally thought I was going to be playing at the University of Tennessee.
Nice.
But my senior year of high school, I tore my ACL, and my scholarship got pulled, and I ended up walking on at LSU, where I, earned scholarship once I got there. But yeah, and while I was there, played 5 years of indoor, so I redshirted my first year. And then when I was done completely with my indoor career, I switched to beach in 2019, and got a couple extra years due to a medical red shirt and a COVID year. So I was at LSU for 7 years and loved my time there. Loved playing beach volleyball there. It was an amazing start to my career for beach volleyball. And it pushed me to come out here and start my pro career. One of my teammates at the time, Claire Coppola, her dad and her family and her club coach, Ryan from Arizona, they were like, you should move to California if you want to play professionally. Like, that's where you need to go, and like, you have a future in the sport. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll do it. Me and my dad packed up my car. We drove out to California, and yeah, the rest is history.
Wow, that's a lot happening, right? In that amount of time. I mean, to start, you thought that you were going to play basketball? Were you already playing at that time?
Yeah, I was playing basketball probably from the age of like 5 until junior year of high school. Yeah.
Do you ever feel that translates in some elements and it helped?
Yeah, I think the thing about basketball for me was that it was a contact sport, and maybe people do know this about me, but I'm very aggressive and the contact was probably not the best for me because I would get so fired up and worked up and would want to fight at the end of games. So yeah, it's probably good. But yeah, the aggressive side does translate to volleyball. I just take it out on the ball now and not somebody else.
I watched you play many times, and I myself find myself that aggressiveness helped me win more. Mm-hmm. And I don't think all the players are the same. If you watch Scandinavians, they're like super chilled. Yeah. But I tried both, and I realized being calm doesn't help me find my best. Mm-hmm. And when I watch you play, I can see a lot of like energy, and for me it's entertaining. I like people with that kind of energy on the court,
Yeah, it's more fun.
Okay, so then you said right before the college you had the first big injury, right? And you healed right, correctly to be able to compete then in indoor. So you played indoor for 4 years at LSU. How was that experience? Because that was the first time, right, to play on, let's say, a big stage, right? I mean, LSU is a big university, and fun fact, your dad and sister went there, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I was curious if that was like your number one choice, since like, you know, you already had kind of alumni, but yeah, how was the feeling of playing at the big university?
I think that it was like such an amazing experience. I grew up an LSU fan my whole life. My parents live and breathe purple and gold, and I do as well. And yeah, I think it's really cool to go to such a big university and to be close to family. So like my grandparents, my parents, my sister, my niece, everyone got to see me play. And so I think that was really special as well. And then obviously, you know, LSU is a huge football school, and yeah, it is just, I rave about it and I'm biased, but if any junior girl asks me about LSU, I am just, it's the best place you can go in the country, in my opinion. For indoor or beach, I just think the facilities are amazing, the people are amazing, family atmosphere, like it's an experience you don't want to miss. So
nice. Well, I'm happy you had that kind of experience. That's awesome. And then you transfer from indoor to beach. Was that the first time you were facing sand, or did you play any beach before? And how was that like transfer from indoor to beach? Like, was that all of new stuff and the learning curve?
I dabbled a little bit with beach volleyball my freshman year at LSU. Before beach was like really like hardcore recruiting, they would take all of the indoor girls and bring them out to the sand. And that was probably the first time I ever like dabbled in it. And I was like, I want to play this. I want to play this so bad. But at the time I was redshirted my first year. And so I didn't really get an opportunity to actually compete. So I just trained out there a little bit. And then my second year in college, when I originally got to start competing indoor, I ended up getting injured again. And so, which is a bummer, because I thought, oh, maybe I could be a dual, like I could do both at the same time. Because, you know, back when we didn't really have recruits for the sport, indoor girls were on the beach team. And so it's just a cool opportunity to have some cross training and to get to play both. But that obviously wasn't in the cards for me. And then ended up just staying indoor up until my beach career. I played like a couple some summer tournaments with a friend, Cheyenne. And yeah, that's like kind of it as far as like leading up to crossing over. I didn't really play much.
Okay, so then when you switched, how was that like new environment, right? Like you're obviously like sharing the court only with one person, but also just witnessing all the aspects of beach volleyball that are different than indoor, which is weather and, you know, like wind. You need to do all the elements past that hit, which in indoor you kind of isolate depending on position. How was all of that for the first time, like let's say learning?
Yeah, I think people don't understand how hard our sport actually is. You have to be very versatile and you have to be able to do all the skills. And I think coming from indoor, the good thing was that I was an outside, right side, played 6 rotations. So I had experience doing just about everything. And so I think my transition was pretty good. I think the hardest part for me was probably bump setting. I'm still learning how to bump set now, but yeah, originally when I first crossed over, that was probably the most intimidating skill. And then after my first season playing, I ended up switching to hand setting. But
Smart.
Yeah, I just think it is a very hard sport. You only have one person on the court with you. And I learned very quickly my first season that I had to communicate a lot more. And I also played with freshmen. So that was also another layer of like, okay, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm also playing with a freshman. Like, how's this gonna go? But yeah, I think the transition was really good for me. And I've come to learn this about myself, that I really like learning new things. And so I was so hungry just to get better every single day that I walked out there my first season. And yeah, working with amazing coaches, Drew Hamilton, who now coaches Kristen and Taryn, Russell Brock, he's the head coach at LSU, and Katie Leak, she's an assistant. Like, we had such a good coaching staff, and yeah, they made my transition very easy.
That is awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I love learning, and what you just said of like being motivated to learn, right, and to improve. I think that's such a strong characteristic to have as a motivation. If you're like guided by learning, you're never gonna get filled. Like, you're never gonna find the end, because there's always more to learn. If you're guided by something else, there's a chance that when you achieve it, you're like, you know what, like, I can't find any more motivation. And for me, like, learning is so fun, and just being, not only learning the theory, but also learning what you can do with your body. I'm like, this is insane. Like, I never thought that I'm gonna be able to do this, and this. And now when I do it, I'm like, wow, that's so awesome. So I can see like starting a new sport, or like, I mean, we can call it a new sport. It's definitely different than indoor. Is for someone who loves learning, it's like, it's so fun.
So fun. So fun. You just want to be out there every day getting better, right?
And what was the hardest thing when you were trying to transition, like, accept bump setting? Like, how was, let's say, the mental aspect of it? How was just, being responsible on the court without a coach? How was all of that? Like, what would you think was the biggest kind of setback that you had to cross in order to like go to higher level?
Yeah, I think just like learning more about the game. Coming from indoor, it's just completely different. And so I feel like my IQ when I first started wasn't necessarily there. And I relied a lot on like my partner calling and, just, I don't know. I feel like now, like looking then to now, I'm like, I take look when I'm hitting. I know all the calls. Like if this play is happening, what is the other team likely to do? Like, my brain understands the game better now. And so I think that the most challenging thing stepping out there is like knowing how to play. Like, I could do the skills, but how do you actually play? And how do you, strategize to win?
I feel like when I started playing, it was always like, oh, like the top players are the old players because they have experience. And it shifted a little bit now, right? At the Olympics and the World Champs, in the men's, if you look, it's all the 20-something, old guys, if not even 20. But I feel like they started early, so they did their work for years. But the part that you were talking about of learning the game, I feel like that takes time. It's just like, I know people who are like, oh, but I want to, I want to be better now. And I'm like, yeah, but it takes time to like, not learn. Like, somebody can tell you the calls and somebody can tell you need to look. But you need to rep it out, and it takes time.
Right, the experience.
And you can't be on the beach for 10 hours because you're going to get injured. So it makes it, just by itself, it makes it long, right?
Right.
So yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting that you said it, because now when I think about it, it definitely takes, takes time.
It takes time for sure.
Okay, so we're currently on the timeline at your end of your college. When you came to like last year of college, and somebody told you about like you should move, what was your thought process? Were you aiming to continue your professional career no matter what? Or were you thinking already about like starting to work and, like pursue like some other career? Like, was your head already like, I want to be a professional player? Or what was the thought on the last year of college?
I think from the first season that I had at LSU, I had 2 other ones after. From that first season, like after playing it, I knew I wanted to play this professionally. Didn't really know what that looked like. I always thought I'd play indoor, but my body just couldn't handle it. And yeah, I think, yeah, I've always had a desire to play professionally, whether that was indoor or beach, but I knew it had to probably be beach. And when I decided that, and they were encouraging me to move, the only thing I knew coming out here was where I was going to live.
Okay.
It was with Laurel Weaver. Funny enough, she came up to me at the NCAA tournaments. She was coaching for USC, and she said, "Hey, Toni, I've been watching you all year. I would love to play with you, potentially professionally. Like, you should come to California. We should play a tournament or two together." And I was like, "Huh, okay." And then ended up reaching out to her. She had an open room. Ended up, renting a room out from her. And like I said, when I got here, didn't know who I was training with, who I was playing with, who I was going to be coached by, where I was going to make money. Like, I did not have anything lined up. I just said, I'm playing professionally. I'm moving to California. See you later, Louisiana. Like, that's basically what happened.
That's awesome. That's really bold to take those chances, and that's for me what inspires this whole podcast is
Right.
those bold moves of people when we didn't know what's ahead, but we were truly in love with the sport. Mm-hmm. So that's awesome. So you moved, mm-hmm. and then guide us. What happened after that? Did you play the first season then with her, or how did your AVP career started there?
So when I got here, I ended up connecting with obviously Laurel, and then one of the first people I remember reaching out to was Gina Urango. And
Nice.
Funny enough, I met her back in 2016. She was in Louisiana playing in AVP, and her partner at the time was Angela Benson. Mm-hmm. And Benny is what we call her. Yeah. She played at LSU. And so I actually met Gina in 2016.
Nice.
And so I ended up reaching out to her when I got here, and she started inviting me to things. First thing I ever got invited to was a fours, fun day on the beach, just fours, and started meeting all of the pro girls, and just got plugged in. And the summer had already passed, so I moved in September. So I just started getting in the sand with a bunch of different people, and then eventually connected with Emily Stockman and Scott Davenport and Chris Flood, and got in with them. And I ended up training with Emily for a few months until Megan Kraft got out of college, which is funny. I was just filling in, getting a lot of reps with a very high-level player at the time, and working with Scott Davenport and Chris, who are really great coaches. And I just saw it as a really cool opportunity. Ended up training with them for a few months, and then I played with Zana Muno. She was my first international partner. We played in a futures event in Australia and got a bronze. And then we also played that same year in Saquarema and ended up not qualifying, unfortunately. But
when was that?
Saquarema.
When was that?
When was that?
What year
probably
was that?
March of 22.
Okay.
Yeah, and then she decided to go a different route, and I ended up partnering with Savvy Simo for the 2022 season. And we actually were doing pretty well that year. And I ended up getting injured in New Orleans. Story of my life. But I ended up playing with her till I got injured, had a minor surgery, and then came back. She ended up waiting for me to come back, and we played the 2023 season together. Decided we wanted to make a late push for Paris. Yeah. Obviously, things didn't go our way, but super fun, really amazing experience to play with someone you care so much about.
For sure.
And she's my best friend. She was my best friend. She is my best friend, and
You won a medal together as well that year.
We did.
Right?
We won a silver medal in La Paz, Mexico.
On the Challenger, right?
Yes, the Challenger.
Which is still huge. You say it didn't go your way, but in my eyes, you had, again, a really, really successful career.
Yes.
Career season.
Yes.
And if you think about it, it was a step up from the previous year. So future medal, Challenger medal. Mm-hmm. And then year after, then you got 3 more medals.
Right. Yeah.
So then a year after, you paired up with Gina.
Gina, yes. Ended up pairing up with her for the 2024 season. And that year was really weird where the AVP League didn't start until the end of the year. And so we played Huntington Beach together, got a 9th, and I think we were both kind of like, is this going to work out? Like, are we sure? Like, what's going to happen, you know? And then we ended up just like putting our heads down, grinding for like 2 or 3 months up until AVP Manhattan.
Yeah.
Where we took a 3rd place finish. And yeah, I would say that tournament really set me and Gina up for success, and kind of helped us have this trajectory.
Yeah. The 3rd place was your highest finish at the AVP at that time.
Yes.
Right? Nice. Congrats to that. And then from there, you played Chicago, right?
Chicago.
And then you took 3rd in Chicago?
As well, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then the league started after that.
Then it started, It started like a week
Yeah,
later
you were
or
on the
something.
high, and then that was a perfect timing when you were on the high to have
Yeah.
a league. And Gina was a guest of the episode, and she said something interesting about the league, that you embraced the team chemistry of 4 of you, and just kind of, kept being, that one team that competes for one prize, right?
Right.
To win the league. And I guess it worked.
Yeah, it was a really fun year. I was going through a lot of personal things, and yeah, I look back and think, wow, that was such a cool experience. And to do it with Gina, I thought, like, she's now one of my best friends. And yeah, it was just really cool to finally find a partner that you can like really, really, I don't know. There was a thing about me and Gina where we were capable of being super vulnerable with each other. And I feel like that's really hard to find in a partnership, and to really find like that trust piece. And I feel like we also did like a lot of work with our sports psych together individually. And yeah, every time I stepped on the court with her, I just felt like I could trust her in every scenario and situation. And so, yeah, that was a really cool year to look back on.
Yeah, even after so many years of playing this sport, I guess, like, from where I come from, we didn't have the highest level of beach volleyball. Indoor is a huge thing in my country, so I didn't have access to the coaches and psychologists and everything. But for me, hearing about psychology part of the game is so abstract, because I never came that close, except reading the psychology, mental toughness, motivation, and so on books. But I truly believe that there's something special in it. And let's say I talked to Dan, and he said that before Manhattan, Miles and Chase worked with someone for a week or 2, and then he was present on the tournament, like before every match. And there's a lot of signs that say, like, when you come to that highest level, improving technique can help you a little bit, but now we're looking for these like new things, like, if I add this, it can help. If I add this, it can help, like, and it can be something small, it can be something big. Like, if you never stretch, maybe stretching is gonna make a higher ceiling than working on attack, because you work on attack for years, right? Something that you don't do. So I feel like adding something, and I know Gina is really specific with people she works with, and I know she chooses the quality.
Oh yeah.
That was definitely like huge, right?
Amazing quality. I mean, yeah, Dr. Justin Blake, he's mind right psychology, and he changed my life.
Do you feel like the things you learn, let's say mentally, working with him, you still implement in your game?
Yes, I do. I currently still work with him as well. And, recently him and Gina actually created a workbook that they released.
Mentioned it last time. We have it in the,
it's really cool. It's really cool. It looks at like personality and love language and a bunch of different aspects. And so you really get to know your beach volleyball partner. But yes, a lot of what he's taught me, I still use today. And it's an ongoing, I just think mental health and, sports psych in general is like an ongoing thing. And yes, you can feel like you get to a really good place, but you're always going to ebb and flow in that, And so I just think it's important that I am very consistent with working with him. And, coming back from this injury that I have now, I think it'll be really important to focus on that and making sure that I am ready to step back on the court, from a mental space.
For sure. And we'll go back to injury a little later, but I know even when I came back from injury, like this is not even connected to the game, but just like your mind, I broke like a small bone in my foot, metatarsal bone on the side. And when I came back, I was afraid to push from that foot because I was afraid that it's going to break. And it's like you have to overcome, it's not even connected to the game, it's just your own fear of, like another injury. And I know that like even in that, the mindset plays a huge role. Yes. But I'm guilty, same as most of the players, like these thoughts that sometimes like, oh, like, you're not good, you can't beat this person, you keep losing to them, you're never going to be able to do this and this, and just kind of like overloading on those information. It's really hard to continue improving, and I feel like I was reading, I forgot which book it was, but it talks about like, if that's your bank account, you have to cash in the good thoughts, because eventually like that's what you use when you're playing. You use, that, like whatever you like put in the bank, you can, deposit. So if you put in the bad thoughts,
I feel like I've read this book.
It might be A Confident Mind, but
I'm Confident not sure. Mind, yes, I'm pretty sure that was it. Yeah.
So for me, that was a thought process of like, like it's what I'm doing is definitely wrong, because for my whole career, because I didn't have a coach, I tried to like find my own way by being a perfectionist. I was always trying to ask other people how you do it, other coaches. That's a part of what I want to do here too. That's what kind of inspired me, because I already started having these conversations that I enjoy with, with other people, other players. So I think I grew up in this like person who tries to be perfect. Then those thoughts, there's a lot of negative thoughts, like you didn't do it how you're supposed to, and when I listen like that book and other books, like I listen because I drive a lot. I was like, oh my God, like I feel like I'm doing the wrong thing here. And I feel like it's pulling me down. So back to the mental aspect of the game, I think it's huge to analyze and then start making the right steps. So I feel like that's on the books for me to work with someone, but I'm happy to hear that you have someone like that good. Right?
Yeah.
So huge season, right? 2024, we said 3 medals, right? Yeah. And then winning, like best finish at AVP, and then winning the league, right? Like it feels like you're climbing the ladder, like every year is better and better. Something to circle back to is you paired up with Molly. You were not a pair that season, but you paired up, went to World Tour, and boom, 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 bronze, silver, gold. How did that happen, and how did you find chemistry so fast?
Yeah, me and Molly had talked, I'm sure a few times before that, about playing, and it never really came to fruition. And then I just remember calling her being like, hey, let's do this. And she was like, yeah, let's do this. And I think we maybe got in the sand one time before leaving for the trip because I left from the AVP championships. From there, I went straight to my house, showered, grabbed my luggage, and went to the airport and flew to China. So yeah, we did not train when we got there. I think we did a really good job of communicating right off the bat, like, hey, this is usually what I need. She said, hey, this is what I usually need. And I think we made it very clear that if we were bothered by something, just bring it up immediately, because there was no time to develop this team, right? And so I remember in our first tournament in China, we had to play every single one. We had to play the qualifier, and qualifier, you just don't want to be in a qualifier. Yeah. You don't want to be in a qualifier, and we were playing the qualifier. I remember being down in the third, I'm pretty sure, and we were down. I'm like, and the game's at the end of the match, and I'm just like, holy moly, and like I just remember thinking like, we're not losing this, and I'm sure Molly had the same thought as well. And we ended up pulling it out. And I think from that moment, I think we both kind of realized like, oh, we can trust the other person. We can do this. We're a team. Like winning that match kind of, I feel like almost got us over the hump of like, okay, we're ready to go kind of thing. And
Nice.
I mean, Molly's an amazing defender and super easy to play with. I think that I love her energy on the court, super fiery. We just connected super well. And so she made it super easy to play with her. And I think that also says a lot in this sport. I think I really try to make sure that I'm the best partner, you know, because I feel like that's really hard to find out there.
Yeah, this is like a deja vu. We had, like you had a lot of partners and success with different people. I had Gauthier Rat on the podcast, the French player. And when I asked him, what's your best skill? He said, making other players better, like my partners. Hopefully not the other team. But he said he was finding ways to make his partners better. Depending on who he played with, he changed his like communication and approach to the game and the focus. And I think that's this like this skill where you're not selfish, where you're not thinking about what do I need, but more thinking about what do they need. And I think that's rare. It's really rare in our sport, especially here, I feel, in US, where there's a lot of changes of the partners. You know, at some point you create the shield and you say, I have to focus on myself. Because if you spend a year working on someone and then they go play with someone else, now you made them better, but maybe you didn't really, you know, take advantage of how you improve. So being able to like, you know, share yourself and give yourselves to make them better, it's a rare skill, I think, nowadays, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's hard to find someone you really connect with as well.
For sure.
So
for sure.
To be a good partner and to find someone you connect with, or that they're a good partner, it's
And I think
full package.
I think like the older I get and the more I play in this stage of career, it's also important to have someone that you actually enjoy time like outside of the court, you know, like especially World Tour. Like we have to travel and we have to spend time outside of the court. And same as any other sport, you lose a lot. Like you just you go, you lose, and then eventually you win, but you don't just win. So I feel like, you know, you have to, for the wins and losses, you have to be able to be comfortable, you know, and enjoy your time. And finding someone that you can enjoy outside of the court, you know, I like how you said, like, Gina became one of my best friends, that's, I think, what shows the good partnership, right? If you're so comfortable and you create this bond, and, you know, like, even if you don't play ever again together, you share this part of life, right? Like a lot of time. You spend more time with a partner than mom and dad or your best friend or whoever. So you share a big part of your life with that one person. So I think that's really important. So great tournaments with Molly. And then something shocking. You decide that you want to play defense. So after this incredible season, you crushed it. You're a great blocker. And you come up with this idea that a lot of blockers in our sport have, that you want to play defense. So guide me through the thought of like, how do we come to this? Like, was the thought of I want to play defense, or was the thought I want to play with my friend, with Kylie DeBerg? How did you end up deciding that? Obviously, you stayed with Gina for the AVP season because you were already qualified for the league. But internationally, you decide to play defense with Kylie. So what was that?
Why? Ever since starting playing beach, I've always, thought it could be fun. At LSU, they never trained me to play defense because I was one of the top blockers. But I think that my experience playing defense allowed me to now become a more well-rounded player.
For sure.
But I think, I just wanted to try it and make sure that it wasn't, I wanted to see if it was something I wanted to do. like I understand that I'm a good blocker, but I mean Kylie's 6'4", very big at the net. Like I already know her so well, felt like we had good communication. Like, yeah, I just wanted to test it out, see what could happen, and maybe potentially make the run for 28 with her. And yeah, I think playing defense is very hard. You saw me playing it. I definitely wasn't the best out there doing it, but I think as the months went on doing it with her, our team did get better. And I like to say that I think the best teams usually win, even if the skill maybe is not the highest. And I just feel like we got better over time, which is like the ultimate goal. But unfortunately, I did hurt myself. And so that partnership now does not exist.
Yeah.
But for the time being, I think defense, again, helped me become a more well-rounded player and got to get reps on the right side and just see if it was something that I wanted to do. Yeah, I know people thought it was crazy, and I know people were like, what are you doing? But we ended our career or our short partnership together on top, so that's good.
No, I love that, and I love that you took, a chance, and it's almost a luxury. I think in my head you're so confident that you know that you're good at what you do, and you're like, I actually want to see what else, and it aligns with what you said of learning, how you want to keep learning, and you were almost bored of like, I know that I'm good at this. Can I be even better? So you're exploring and trying to find different things on, being able to grow. And
Right.
it definitely helped you grow as a player because now you understand the perspective from the back and from the front. So now I'm curious, after that, you decided to go back to blocking. So is then blocking something that you feel more comfortable and you see that you have more impact? Because I feel like I'm really curious to hear what you think, because when I play a block for a little bit, I'm too small, or I don't jump well. But when I play block, I just felt like blocker, if you're capable of reaching enough, you're the one affecting the game more than a defender. If you look Anders Mol, I think whoever you put behind him, he's still going to be so affecting the game so much. Where if you put Sorum with someone who is not such a good blocker, he would have a hard time. And I never understand why good blockers would want to play defense or split block, because it's more important to be that person on the net. But I'm curious what you think. Like, what did you realize when you were playing both positions, right?
I think being off for the last 6.5 months, coming back from my injury, I made the decision to go back to blocking for a couple of reasons. I think, my top reason was just like longevity in the sport, feeling like, okay, I just hurt my shoulder, don't really want to dive on it as much as I was doing that. And so, I think just as a blocker in general, I'm not going to have as much impact on my arm.
Yeah.
And then just from a health safety standpoint, I was advised probably go back to blocking. But that wasn't the only thing. I think over the last couple months, in my gut, I felt like I could be a top blocker in the United States if I keep working really hard. I'm not saying I'm there right now, but I think that if I keep putting in the work, I can get there. And, I'm only 6'1", but I feel like I'm pretty dynamic, and I think something that I've added to my game is pulling. I feel like I've gotten a lot better at pulling in general, and so I think I've learned a lot about blocking playing indoor, and to have that background and then be able to take it to the sand. I feel like that's what's lacking a little bit in our sport of beach volleyball is really good technical blockers.
For sure.
And teaching kids at a young age how to do that. And so I feel just really blessed that I have this indoor background. And at LSU, I feel like we were always good at blocking. That was one skill that you could count on us doing. And so I feel like I was just taught very well how to read, how to see the game up at the net, and how to have individual hands and placement. And yeah, I just feel like my background gave me a lot of advantage when I stepped out onto the beach. And so, yeah, I just felt like in my gut over the last couple months that maybe that was, where I was supposed to be. And I'm a person of believing in that things happen for a reason. And I'm not saying my injury was like supposed to tell me if I should be a defender or not. But it definitely kind of felt like maybe like God was trying to tell me like, hey, like this is maybe not where you're supposed to be. So.
For sure. I mean, blocking and defense, they're both like, unique skills and hard to learn. And when you find yourself in one of them, I think, that's where you should stay, right? When you find that I'm so good at this, it's, and exploring helps you find, what it is. But quick question, what's the best feeling in beach volleyball?
Best feeling?
What element?
The best feeling? What element? Like doing something on the court?
Is it making the block, making an ace, like having a good hit?
Probably like a huge block.
Yeah,
like a huge block.
I think the most people I talk to is just like, it's unreplaceable feeling of like, not only because you're scoring a point, but you're stopping the other person.
Yeah.
And it kind of like, not only they feels well, but it feels bad for them. It's just like such a big impact on the mindset. Like, like you're going up and they're going down. And I if I could be a blocker, I would be a blocker. I swear, it's such a good feeling when you make a couple blocks. Okay, so again, back to the timeline, right? You play with Kylie, and you play with Gina, and then this year, 2025, that was the idea, right? And then you got injured again. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I counted, but it's like fourth time or something that the life throw that obstacle in front of you. So you had to stop again. It was in the middle of the league, and then do the surgery, and then decide if you're going to come back. And obviously, the way you are, as soon as probably was done, you're like, I'm on my mission, right? To be back where I belong. And I'm truly inspired, as I said, that you're following your dreams and not giving up. Because after that many injuries, like some people are like, I know players who gave up because of the injuries, and I'm inspired of, in your case it's injuries, in other people's lives is something else, but just being able to overcome the obstacle and say, I still want to do it. And then, the signs are like, maybe you shouldn't do it. And you're like, no, I still want to do it, and for me, that's amazing to see. So since this was like the most recent injury, right after all of them, what is your mindset of when you're injured? Like, how do you motivate yourself to say, I need to be back. I want to make this. Like, it's not easy to relearn the moves. Doesn't matter if it's a foot or arm or shoulder. You need to learn how to move your arm or how to walk. Like, I had to learn how to move my ankle. Like, those things are so hard to like mentally go through. There's a little bit of pain, right? Like, it's a lot. It's a heavy, really, really hard recovery path. So how do you stay motivated to be like, I'm going to go through all of this in order to be in that court?
Right. That's a big question. I think having a lot of experience in, getting injured and having surgery, it's always been a little bit different. Every single experience has been a little bit different. This one specifically, you have your two aspects. You have your physical aspect and then you have your mental aspect. And, everything physically has gone pretty good. Like from the start of the surgery to now, I'd say my arm is in a really good place. My doctor has been super stoked about it. And in my mind, I don't realize how big of a major surgery that it was. So like in my mind, I'm like, I should be way further. I don't know why this is taking so long. I'm confused. But I'm in a really good place from a physical standpoint. From a mental standpoint, this has probably been one of the hardest injuries to come back from. And I feel like the closest people to me know that. But I definitely feel like I haven't necessarily been like super, super open about it on social media. I have here and there, but I think mentally, I have a lot of trauma when it comes to injuries and surgeries. And so that's been very hard. And, you know, you asked me about motivation, and I think throughout this whole process, I've been very motivated in knowing that I'm coming back to play. Like, I've shown up, I've done the work every single day since the surgery. But on the other end of the spectrum, from the mental standpoint, it's been really up and down. Like, even though I know I'm coming back, I know how badly I want to play, I'm doing all the work, it's still been such an emotional roller coaster, this one. And I'm still trying to put my finger on it as to why. But yeah, I think, the motivation piece, I just know that this is what I want to do. And I'm not done. And I want to make the run for 28. I want to play in LA. I want to win a gold medal. Like, I want to do those things. And I get it. Everyone comes on this podcast and, you know, all of us want to do big things in the sport, but like, why not set a goal that you want to freaking do?
For sure.
And yeah, I just feel like coming back from this injury, even on the hard days, I still found a way to just do the work through the pain, through the emotional tears, through just like all of it. And even like an aspect that I didn't even know was going to be like really hard. I'm dating a beach volleyball player, and like I'm engulfed in the sport. Like everything around me is beach volleyball. And so, so many, aspects of this one were really, really hard. But I'm, funny enough, finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. And like this past week was on the sand with Molly, and I jumped and hit a high line for the first time, and I was like, holy moly, like I'm gonna be okay. Like, you know, like, and the whole time, like I knew I was gonna be okay, but like, you know, there's always that one like doubt back there that's like sometimes like pulling at you, and you know, and so I think the motivation has always been there. It's just a matter of like finding that through the hard days. So
that's awesome. It's a cool story, and I think as we talk, motivation is more important than anything else, because when you're feeling bad or sad or whatever, motivation is there to tell you like, no, you still have to do it, you know, like, because like you want to do this. And for me, I love being on the court. Like, I can work 8 hours, my work. I can go to gym. I can do whatever. But all to be on the court. And it's like, I'm this like volleyball maniac that I just want to be on the court, you know, nonstop. And sometimes like Maureen ask like, why? Like, you already played this week, you already did this. And I'm like, I just love it. If we're in the camp, I want to play. It doesn't matter with who. Like, I love volleyball. So what I see in you is you just love being on that court, and it does, like, nothing can stop you. And that's really inspiring to hear how you're like, you know, I want to go to Olympics. Like, you're not even thinking about setbacks, you're thinking about like forward, like what's the main goal. And I think that's the healthiest way to think about it, in order to come out of it, right, strong. And then since we're close to finishing the episode, huge announcements, right? A couple of days ago, you have a new partner, old partner.
A new old partner, yeah.
With a huge goals. So tell us about that. How did that partnership happen again? And what are the main goals? Like, how are you approaching this season? When is the first tournament that you're planning to play?
So I had a couple conversations with a couple different people. Molly reached out to me, and was like, you're number one on my list, and I want to play with you. And I think it's, to be in the spot that I was in, it was very scary, like not really knowing what my future looked like, and not sure who I was going to play with, and, you know, not having a team and all these things. And it makes it really hard to be motivated. You know, we just talked about that. It's like, I don't even know who I'm like, what I'm playing for, who I'm playing for. And at this moment, I just have to choose myself. But I would rather it be with a team and a partner and somebody that I'm like looking forward to playing with. And she ended up reaching out to me, and I just think it's really cool because it feels like she saw me, even though I wasn't out there playing, and she, knows how hard I work, and she can just feel that I'm going to be ready and that we could be a really good team. And I just thought it was really cool that she wanted to play with me. And I mean, obviously she had an amazing year with Kelly Chang, and I just feel like even from when we played to now after that season or this past season, she's like grown so much as a player, and not just from like a skill perspective, but like a mental perspective. Like I just feel like she was put in a lot of pressure situations this year and just came out on top. And that's like really what you want to see at the end of the day. And, we're all good at beach volleyball, like we can all play at a really high level. It's like, who can mentally do it? Yeah. And I think that that's like what sets her apart and what made it like clear to me that like, oh, like, yeah, like Molly, like, let's get after this and let's play together. So
she's a grinder, and she fought through. She's not scared. She chooses qualifiers rather than main draws to play with who she believes with, that she can win with. And she was a guest, obviously, of this podcast. So she was sharing her story, but it does sound, kind of the two of you would match, with both mindsets. And I mean, after that, you decided that you're going to play together. Do you already have, like a set time for like the first tournament, or are you still kind of feeling the body? Like, do you know the timeline of what you're aiming for?
Yeah, so I actually haven't posted on social media about this, but I'm going to be releasing a video soon about where I'm at in my journey. But yeah, we plan to play in the first AVP qualifier.
Awesome.
My doctor seems to believe that I will be ready to go. I believe I'll be ready to go, and I've been, again, putting in a lot of work, and yeah, I'm excited. My shoulder might not be like the exact same, or it might not be, me swinging at balls hard, but, I know I'm going to be able to play, and I know I'm going to be able to play at a high level, even if that's not a part of my game. And so, yeah, we're going to play in the AVP qualifiers, and then from there we'll decide our international schedule, and yeah, it'll be a really fun year.
For sure. And I mean, I'm happy to see since I had conversation with both of you. And I think you're getting like an upgraded Molly, right? As you said, like she went through a lot while she was getting served. She went to competitions that she never played at, or even I think that they're going to come that fast. So I think you're getting someone who is, level up from what you remember. But what I like about what you said was that she called you, and I know what I look in partnership, and I don't know if that's what you're looking for, but it's playing with someone who wants to play with me. Like, and it sounds silly, but a lot of times you play with someone because they just want to play with you because of your points. No, I want you to play with me because you believe that I'm the best player. Choose me because you believe I would not do better with anyone else.
Right.
Obviously, like, there's players with a lot of points who are amazing and you would probably do better. But, where you're at, choose me because you believe that me and you are going to do something great. Right. Not because, like, oh, we're going to be main draw. Like, that's bullshit. So, for me, like, her giving you a call after playing with arguably the top player in the country, or top 5, means that she believes that you're the best player, that she's going to do great. And I think that explains your choice of, I want to play with someone who wants me, who wants me to pursue this. And I think that's the strongest bond we can get.
Yeah. So, I agree.
So that's amazing. And again, congrats on a new partnership.
Thanks.
I think we should wrap up.
Perfect.
We talk for an hour, and I'm so happy you came to share your story. As I said, you're someone who's so inspiring to always come back and follow the dreams, and this is what it's all about in my podcast, is for other people to hear those inspiring stories and rely on them and learn from them, and find that extra motivation that you have a lot. Before we finish, I would like to give you a little presents from the sponsors of the podcast. Polar Gold, they've been with me from the first episode. CBD cream, so for all the injuries, when you feel the pain, they're great. And
awesome.
Yeah, they're also like really into beach volleyball, and they're sponsoring a couple athletes. So I love working with brands that love the sport. And Bravo Beach, a new sponsor of the podcast, they're a supplement company that really wants to give back to beach volleyball community. Awesome. They were running tournaments in California, Spike and Go tournaments here in Hermosa. But now they created a new supplement brand, and the goal is to give back to community. So every purchase actually gives back to the beach volleyball community and supports players. So they're giving you a free supplement, whatever you want to choose, on the website. So you can choose whatever you like to use, and it's going to be their gift to you.
Amazing. Thank you.
So thank you so much for coming. Thanks for sharing the story. And I'm so excited to see, like, now when I talk to both you and Molly, I'm so excited to see how this partnership is going to go. And I wish you all the luck and to achieve that dream of yours to go to Olympics.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much. Okay, awesome. And I think the microphone didn't die, which is